Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar today. We're really happy to be introducing Nadiem van Heidenbrand, CEO at Mindful, on 10 times ROI from data with data product management. My name is Julie and I'm lead product manager here at Data Scientist. In a couple of words, we're a training institute specializing in, you guessed it, analytics and data science. Now, before we start off things, just a quick reminder that you can always ask your questions, whatever the platform you're on, whether it be LinkedIn or YouTube. Don't hesitate to challenge us and ask plenty of questions that we'll be able to showcase at the end. I'll be your host today, and I'm really happy to introduce Nadiem to the scene and hand over the floor to you, Nadiem, to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Julie. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And my name is Nadiem. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Mindfuel, and I'm happy to discuss the topic around data product management today with you, and also with this talk of how to create real value from data. And maybe a few words about myself and a little bit of background. I studied computer science at Technical University of Munich, and from there I started my career in the field of data science. So I did a lot of data science work hands-on. I joined a consultancy, working on different projects with different customers, was responsible for different projects, became a project lead. I grew my career in data science, and then I shifted slightly or slowly from hands-on data science work to something called data strategy, because a lot of companies back in the days when I was doing this job wanted to build up internal teams, internal departments for data science and analytics, if you want. So nearly every company today, especially the Fortune 500 companies and the big enterprises, they typically have a data department. And for these data departments, my job was then to build the so-called data strategies for them. And yeah, I mean, building up departments is always great fun. Building up new topics, they're also subsidized in the field of innovation, if you want. So there's always good move within the organizations. But also a big topic for companies and major enterprises is when you are investing into data, and if you are investing into a strategic topic like building up a data analytics department, then the question is, when can I expect a return on investment, and how do I clarify on what return on investments look like, and how is the value generating process? And all these questions have been asked by major enterprises all and over again. So how do you measure the return on investment on data and AI has been still is as of today, but also has been back in the days at top of mind of decision makers and major enterprises. And this took me then to the decision in 2020 that for this question, there is no answer in the market. So of course, there are different approaches, there are different ideas, but I realized together with my co-founder Max that we have to find an answer to this question. How do you measure, or how do you justify the return on investment in these? The reason why we founded Mindfuel. Mindfuel is a data product management company, and we really started just with this problem statement. And today I would like to share a few insights from our research, which we've done, what we've learned, and also how the solution could look like now, and why it is so important to bring the topic of product mindset into the world of data. I think you might have heard the term around data products. It's also a super crazy trend at the moment. So there are different perspectives on data products, what data products are. And still the key concept for us was, and this is also what I would like to talk to you about today, is bringing a product mindset into the world of data, because with the help of product management, we can ensure that data science projects generate outcome instead of outputs. And this is what I will talk to you about today. So I will share my screen. And I assume you can see it. Yes, here we go. So 10x ROI from data with data product management. This is what I will talk about. Feel free, please add me, connect me, find me on LinkedIn or wherever. I'm very happy to exchange with you also afterwards. I think I introduced myself already now. So please feel free to reach out. And I think the question I would like to start the talk with is that companies have tons and tons of data, but it's not about collecting the data. It's about generating insights and having a very successful data management around it. And this is, I think I can highly agree with this statement from Prashant. He's the founder of Data for Business Performance Institute in New York. And he is, I think, one of the thought leaders as well when it comes to how business can benefit from data efforts, from data science efforts and analytics efforts these departments or teams are doing. So how does data product management creates real value? So to kick it off, before we delve into the content, I brought you an example. And I brought you an example from the sports industry. So imagine a soccer club who really wanted to start from scratch with data science, machine learning, and AI. And the soccer club had investments, but of course not tremendous amount of money. So the challenge which they were facing was which use cases, simply said, should we focus on, and what is necessary from an architecture perspective, from a capability perspective, from a technical perspective, to be able to deliver these use cases. And still, which data do we actually need, or which data do we actually have to generate return on investment? Because an investment decision in companies is purely made on, unfortunately, sometimes purely made on not building the greatest models and the greatest solutions, but to decide on which return on investment can this generate. So I was asked to take over the job, and my first question, so to help them out, and my first step was to understanding what the business opportunities are. And I think this is a first, maybe also slightly different approach to what we do in data science in general. In data science, we try to understand the technical challenge and the problem. Of course, we try to define the use case, but typically we expect that the business knows their business opportunity or what they want to do with data. And I went exactly this step further and said, okay, before I even discuss which analytical and technical solutions we can take, I really try to prioritize business opportunities. And I did this with the competence of product management. I hope, or I'm sure there are a few people here in the audience have ever heard about product management, especially digital product management. Is a discipline like data science. So roughly the same age. So it is a discipline with best practices methodologies, which you might have heard topics like viability, desirability, feasibility. We know this from data science. So viability means what is the underlying business case behind the product I'm trying to build. Desirability, it is what is the underlying need of the consumer or user of my product when I build the product. So this is a whole discipline where with best practices methodologies, designers, for example, are very familiar with. And feasibility is the question and the exploration around what is the technical solution if I could build the product. And these three disciplines or these three domains together, viability, desirability, feasibility, build the foundation of product management and help typically discovering the right problems. And this is a mindset in product management which we in data science were not used to, because our job is typically find the right solution. So you might heard about design thinking and all that stuff, but to simply say there's always a problem space and a solution space. And we are educated very heavily in the solution space, but we underestimate the problem space a lot. So in this example, what I did is I went into the problem space with the help of product management methodologies to find out what are the best business opportunities we can find where we can help the problem to drive the business. And I can tell you, I identified in this case 60 business opportunities among the entire soccer club in like operations, in ticket management, in stadium management, in finance, in accounting, whatever. But the budget I was provided with to realize this business value or this business opportunities was not enough, of course, to build all of the 60, but I had to prioritize. So at the end of the day, I prioritized 3 products. I was able to, or 3 business opportunities actually, for which I was able to think about how the solution could look like. And then in the solution space, I think you're all familiar with that. I was building prototypes and then MVPs. I think minimum viable products are super important to then create the outcome. And the impact was at the end of the day that out of the 3 products, 1 didn't work out, 1 was okay-ish, but 1 product went completely through the roof. And it generated a return on investment of 1.5 million in the first year already, of a total investment of 500K. So I achieved it to reduce overall operational costs for the entire club by 50% and increase the new revenue stream of 20% overall increase in revenue, thanks to the dashboards and systems and reports and models we were able to build within this product. And I think this is a very great example that now it's not important which technical solution we've solved or we have used for building now the model in this specific product, but the entire methodology from product management used for data problems generated this quantitative impact of 3x after the first year. And I think this is the mindset I would like to share with you today. So what is data product management? Briefly said, we are combining these 2 worlds, the data world with all our capabilities and skills in data science, machine learning, and AI, with the product world, with all the best practice and methodologies from product management, with the goal to turn data into products. So what's in for you today? I will briefly elaborate on data product management a little bit more to give you an idea about the discipline itself. So then why data products are a game changer? You might have heard about the term. Data products are all over the place at the moment. I think there are different movements in the market, how data products are seen and defined and explored. So I will give you my perspective on that, and then also how to measure value contribution. I think you're very familiar with the topic of how to, some of you might be very familiar with the topic of how to map technical outputs maybe on business outcomes. I will just explore that a little bit and give an example around it. So let's roll it on. First topic, welcome to data product management. And I think I put out this statement, a product mindset is key. So if you haven't heard about a product mindset yet, or if you haven't heard about product management, it is a discipline. The core of product management is having a product mindset. And having a product mindset means, and I can just repeat myself here, outcome instead of output. What does this mean? Outcome instead of output. Let's define output. I have brought for you today 200 slides. This would be the output. Out of these 200 slides, only 2 slides you find valuable. So the output is 200, the outcome is 2. Because outcome is defined as the output which creates value for the consumer or the user. And in product mindset and in product management, we always try to create outcome instead of output. So this is the reason why we have to focus and prioritize so hard on what really has desirability for our users. And we have to bring this mindset into data teams and data organizations in whatever role you are today. If you're working as a data scientist, machine learning specialist, whatever, in a team, or if you work as a team lead, or if you're even leading an organizational part of it or whatever, product mindset is essential. And here comes the problem statement. Typically, we expect that people called product owners are taking care of that job. So if you're a product owner out there, you would say, yeah, but this is my job and this is what I'm doing. If you're doing this, thank you very much, product owner, because then you are really, so then I assume you have tons of work and you're always busy, because there is a second principle in product management saying doing the right things versus doing the things right. Let's explain that. Doing the things right mean that we ensure that the execution is working well, so that the development and the implementation is done great, and that the execution is in a type of quality so that we have a great output. Don't get me wrong, output is always important. We need output, but we have to make sure that the output we're generating converts into outcome. So doing the things right is the execution part. Doing the right things is the prioritization part. This is typically before I can execute, I have to discover, or before I deliver, I have to discover. And this is also where it comes to discovery and delivery, these 2 topics. And if you're as a product owner doing both, you always split apart, right? On the one hand side, you have to talk to your customers to understand what their needs are. You're talking to business owners, you're talking to customers, you're talking to stakeholders You want to understand what their needs is, and at the same time, you have to make sure the execution is working because you're prioritizing the backlog, you're making sure the epics are good, that the sprint is ready, that all the sprint grooming and prioritization within the execution is done right. And this tears you apart. And this is the reason why product owners often become a bottleneck. And this is where it makes sense to bring someone as a product manager who's taking care of the activities for the discovery part. If the team is small, it's not necessarily an own headcount or a whole position, but we have to make sure that the activities which are done for the discovery part are not underrepresented, because we are typically focusing a lot on execution. So when we talk about the discipline of data product management, let me summarize this quickly. I told you it is the combination of the data world and the product management world. I already introduced you viability, desirability, feasibility. So these are the three domains here from the product management side of the house. And we at Mindfuel, and in the definition of data product management, we integrated the whole topic around data science and the best practices and methodologies from data science, and we named it Datability. So data product management then consists of viability, desirability, feasibility, and datability. Now, viability, is there a business case? Desirability, underlying need of the user. Feasibility, can we technically build it? And datability, is the data good enough? So if the data is not good enough, we cannot build the product. So I think, simply said, we didn't reinvent the wheel. We just made sure that the integration of product management into data science is done in a proper way. So what you have to take out of the first chapter is doing the right things versus doing the things right. And the PM, the data product manager, is not necessarily equal to the PO. So the product owner, more or less in most of the organizations, or product owner typically are people who are making sure that the execution is working, which is super important, which is absolutely valuable, and which creates a lot of output, which then be converted into outcome if there's somebody or some person who's taking care of the discovery part of the house, doing the right things. And this is typically a job of a data product manager. We will come in a second to the point what this. I think it's all about categories nowadays, because there are so many different definitions for data products. I come to this in a second. And you always need something like a data product strategy. So whatever you're doing when it comes to product management, measuring value, or if you make sure that you want to deliver outcome, there is a certain point of strategy necessary to understand how you build up these capabilities around product management. Datability is a new dimension. I think that's clear as a new dimension within the product management approach. And last but not least, data portfolio management and value management and ROI. We come to the value management ROI part at the end of the presentation's third chapter. But portfolio management, I think, is a super crucial and important part of a product manager, and also in this case of a data product manager, managing your portfolio, because typically you don't have only one product to manage in the data world, but you have developed multiple products. You have multiple stakeholders. We in data science, we typically not working just purely on one technical solution, but we're developing different use cases, prototypes, MVP, whatever. And this takes us into a stage where we're working in a portfolio approach, meaning the more demands we're getting from our users, consumers, stakeholders, customers, we always try to map them against the existing solutions we already have, or further develop the existing products. And for this, a portfolio management approach is super important. Every one of you may know portfolio management in different facets. Maybe you have a portfolio in, I don't know, your bank account, you have a portfolio, or you have a portfolio of existing products or whatever. So portfolio management is one core discipline in product management. And product management and data product management ensures doing the right things to maximize the data success, so to maximize the outcome. Chapter 2, data products explained. So what is a data product? And the clarification of a data product is so crucial nowadays, because the term has been around everywhere. So it was like, especially in the US, there was a huge movement, a huge hype around data products. And every organization or every blog post or Medium articles or whatever picked up the term. But I can also tell you, we have interviewed more than 100 people in the data space, data experts, leading positions, managing positions, and we asked them for the definition of a data product, and we got 100 different answers. So really, it was so difficult to aggregate and to explain what a data product is. So we tried to bring this somehow into a context and somehow, and I always aim to have a one sentence definition of a data product, but after 2 years of R&D, I had to accept there is not a single definition for a data product. It really depends on who you talk to, what the background of the person is, what the person is seeing in the value of this data product. Now, again, we're talking now about a product, which means there is an outcome. So we're talking about value. And so instead of trying to reinvent the wheel again, we came with another idea and bringing up the value generating process. And for this, let me quickly excurse into the data value pyramid. I'm sure most of you have seen this in the past, or you know this kind of model, or you know similar models. I keep it very quick. How do we actually generate value from data? So usually we have something like a real world process, or the real world or business process. I don't know, whatever. We take the invoicing process as a real business process, and this invoicing process is generating data. And these data are typically raw data. We cannot directly use them. We cannot directly process them, but we have to transform this data, and we have to make the data nice and usable for generating the next level information. We know that the information is in the data, but we cannot directly take it out because it's raw data typically. So we process the data and we generate information. It's a processed version, then a form, it's aggregated, it's organized. From the information, we analyze the information to generate the insight. So the insight is then the topic where our job, more or less, as data scientists used to end, because we're providing the insight, we're providing the pattern, the idea, the trend, the dashboard, the model, the output, whatever we are providing to our consumer. And until this layer, everything below only generated costs, right? Digitizing the process, collecting the data, storing the data, transforming the data, loading the data, analyzing the data, and providing the insight. So all of this was cost generating. And now, usually, we should make sure that somebody uses this insight or acts on this insights to generate the value. And this is where it typically breaks. So this is where typically people getting the dashboards, right, or people getting the models, but they still use their spreadsheets. And they don't use the insight we're generating or providing. And this is really one of the struggles. The last step, the fourth step, the acting step, is the one we actually need to unlock the value. So to unlock the business potential. And to do so, we have defined 4 different categories of a data product. So I will explain this in a quick walkthrough. Number 1, there is not one single definition of a product when you talk to data people. So when we talk to them, we ask them, what is a data product? And people started to explain that their analytical use case, so the use case they're working on at the moment, this is the product for them. Because they're building the dashboard, they're building the report, they're building the model, and this is what the consumer consumes. And therefore we said, okay, if we put product management on analytical use cases, we get analytical products. Then next people came around and said, yeah, but I've read the book from Samak Degani around data mesh. And for us, a data product is a very clean and prepared and transformed data set, like a data asset, which can be reused by different consumers, like data scientists or analysts or whatever. So we just provide the data set, and the data set itself is, for me, the product. And this is also what in data mesh is the core principle around data as a product or data products. And we call it data asset to make it very specific. So from a data set, we get into a data asset by applying product mindset on it. Then I had even people saying, yeah, but I don't provide the asset, I provide just the technology platform and environment. So I make sure that I have the workbench, I have to make sure that I have the access, I have the APIs, I have whatever, the calls, and I provide the technology, the platform as a product, and this is what we then call data tech products. And then we had people, and I keep that rather short because this is not officially part of the data world, but we had also people who said, my digital solution is my product. And so I just want to make sure that a lot of AI capabilities go into this product. And therefore, the entire overarching digital product is actually my data product. So we call them then smart products. And to give you now an example, these 4 product categories have a kind of dependency and hierarchy within. So let's assume we talk to someone saying, my furniture online store is my data product. It's my smart product because it has a lot of AI capabilities. Then someone said, yeah, but it's not actually the store, it is the next best product recommender. So the next best product recommender is the analytic products, the machine learning model, which is fully deployed and which is generating the recommendations. Then you could also say the buying history data as a prepared data asset is my data product, which can be consumed because if somebody is needing the buying history data, we can provide it. And then somebody just said, yeah, you know what? I have integrated Snowflake and dbt as a bundle, and this is now a platform which provides services, and this is my product. So I can tell you on Snowflake, it's the buying history data, which goes into the next best product recommender, which is part of the furniture online store. So I think with this categorization, we helped out a lot of our interviews and a lot of our people we're talking to. And so we can always ask, what is your definition? Which category are you affecting on when it comes to data products? So to sum it up, at the end of the day, data products always guide the way to outcome. So there's a difference between data products and data projects. And don't get me wrong, projects are super important. And project management is also super important. It's just something different. And we distinguish from now on, everyone listening to us today, we distinguishing between data products or data projects. So a product is an asset which is provided, which generates outcome, and which has a life cycle after this. Then you have to make sure that the organizational structure is meeting the definition of the categories. It really depends on who is taking care of the category product type and what types I'm actually producing. So not always every company, every organization produces all types. Some have only the analytic products, data assets, whatever. Then the accountability for data products is super important. If you are a product manager and you have the responsibility for a data product, then you have the accountability. You have to make sure that the product is reachable, accessible. We have to make sure the quality is always right. It shows the right information, insights, and so on and so forth. And the data product management discipline helps then the consumer to unlock the value. If you remember the pyramid now, so my job as a data product manager is not just to ship the product saying good luck with it, but I really help my consumer to adopt it, to make sure that they're really using it and they're creating outcome from it. So data products create outcome for the consumers and therefore produce business value along the way. Last chapter, value management. So you need to quantify the value contribution from your data investments. So I think this is now where then it comes. So what is now the contribution we are generating from all our efforts and all our doing? And here's the problem statement. In my career, in my past, I was sitting there in a presentation and I explained that I have improved the accuracy of my model. And I tried to really explain as good as I can what accuracy KPIs or accuracy factors I've used, how the model has evolved over time, and so on and so forth. But the business user or the consumer or whatever sitting in front of me said, okay, but what is the business input? So what is the business impact? And my statement here is my model had increased 3% in accuracy, and the business said I expect an average of 200 euros per user. And I think this is exactly the gap. This is what we as data product managers or what data product management tries to bridge, right? So what is the translation from the accuracy in the model to the financial benefit? And I can maybe also state from the past here, in organizations, it usually has not a big impact if the model is 2 or 3% more accurate, because the business opportunity itself, like the opportunity we're assessing in the very beginning of the initiative, I told you I identified over 60 business opportunities in the soccer club. The business opportunity usually has such a big potential. you saw I was able to generate 1.5 million added revenue just out of one product, that the accuracy of the model, if it's now 87% or 89%, doesn't play a big effect. It really has to do with the business opportunity management. So what is the right opportunity? What is the right business problem we're addressing? And how can we really leverage if we use data, and which data products we have to build to unlock this business value? And this is why we say a business lineage and a metrics tree are super important. So you can imagine at the end of the day in data product management, on the one hand side, you have your data products and your data product portfolio. On the other hand side, you have your business opportunities among all your customers and stakeholders. And then your job is to match products to the opportunities and to make sure that we are building the right products for the best opportunities possible. And then we can break down the value add from the different business opportunities to the products. So the products are inheriting the business value we are generating. And this is then where it comes to a perspective that when you have a lot of products and a lot of opportunities, and you're able to match this all, then you can make sure that the portfolio value of your overall portfolio is really high and creating a lot of added value among all of your products. So business opportunities are key to quantify the value from data products and to measure their business impact. So to sum it all up, your way to data product management ensures doing the right things to maximize data success. It creates outcome instead of output for the consumer and therefore produces business value along the way. And business opportunities are the key to quantify and to measure the return on investment on data. One more thing to close it, and then I'm really looking forward to your questions. So this is Emmy, my co-founder's dog, and Emmy is always super excited to present that we have built Delight. Delight is a solution for data product managers, for data product management. You can imagine it's a little bit like a CRM system where you are able to manage all your business opportunities and mapping exactly your portfolio against the opportunities. So it helps data leaders, data product managers, people who are really working as product managers with the interface to the stakeholder to either collect all the business opportunities, to assess them, to prioritize them, and then also to aggregate the value among the entire portfolio to ensure that value justification and transparency is always there to say, okay, this data product is generating so much business impact, this data product is contributing to this opportunity, and then you can explain this to your business stakeholders, CFOs, C-suites, but also to your boss directly. You can explain what the value contribution of your work is. And with this, I close it in this moment in time. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to your questions now.
Thank you, Nadiem. I don't know if my camera is working. That's strange. Seems to be black. But anyway.
Black to me as well, yes.
Yeah. Let me try. No, okay, that's very strange. Anyway, thank you so much for your time today. So I see we have one question. Don't hesitate to ask more questions as it goes. So we have one question from Halak, which will pop in a second. But what tools or methods do you recommend newbies in data science to learn? Which tools or methods in general do you find most useful in processing or analyzing data?
Wow, there's tons of technologies and tools out there to learn about data science. It really depends on also where your current not only data background but also maybe educational background is. So I take a few assumptions here. I assume you already have good skills and backgrounds in math, and you know how to deal with math challenges. Then good tools for now specific data science activities are for sure what you get is what you see editors for analytics, where you can upload So I don't know. There are tons out there. I just take an example now. Talent is one example. So I think it's still free of charge. We used it. I used it in different trainings in the past, and it's a good tool. It's a what you get, what you see editor, where you upload data from an Excel spreadsheet, and you can really learn without coding too much how the principles of data science work, because you can do this like in a drag and drop capability. This is a first step. It's just one tool. So to learn the concepts behind it, at the end of the day, you can also use any kind of statistics tool. You might have done any kind of statistics tool in university. I think this is the foundation, because what you have to learn when you are a newbie in data science is not how to code. The coding part comes second. I mean, coding is just the evolution of drag and drop. So what you have to make sure is you understand the concepts of data science. So what means transformation of data, extraction, transformation, load, the whole ETL part of data science. Then what problem do I want to solve? There are different types of machine, like technical problem categories, I would say now. I won't go into details here, but typically you have different categories of problems, and you then have to choose which machine learning model or which data science model or whatever do I want to apply to this, or do I'm just aggregating KPIs to put this in the dashboard. The moment you have good knowledge and good understanding of the concepts, then you can start training and learning. And then when it comes to training and learning in coding, Python is most probably a good programming language to start with, because Python is easy to read, easy to use, like from a programming language perspective, and you can generate a lot of first quick results with it. There are so many libraries out there, but at the end of the day, it's the same principle. You're applying libraries in coding to solve the same problem as you do in a drag and drop technology. So I now named just two, but I would really distinguish between drag and drop technologies, visualization tools, I don't know, Tableau, Click, and all that stuff, that they help you to visualize stuff. And then the programming languages like Python, most probably, but there's also still technology, like languages like R, they've been a bit outdated, and some other technologies. But the coding part is just the engineering transformation from your data science intro stage.
Awesome. Thank you. I see we have no other questions for now. So please feel free to ask any questions. There's no stupid question, as we like to say as well. So I don't know, Nadiem, if you want to share anything else or build on something you've said already.
I mean, I'm so from the question, I assume there may be also a lot of people who are really in the beginning of data science, and I think my topic is already maybe a little beyond that. So typically your journey as a data scientist, and I can just recall this now from I'm doing this now for 12 years. And I started as a data scientist in my career at the very beginning. So typically you start as a data scientist, you work on projects, you deliver technical solutions. After a certain time, when you've done this for a while, you realize that people are asking you not only for the technical solution, but to help them to solve their problems. And this is where you typically progress from a pure data scientist to maybe also a data analyst with capabilities to really help to understand the business problem. And from helping the people in solving their business problems, you realize that most of the problems you have in your project, in your data science project, have actually nothing to do with the code or with the solution you're building, but with the problem the people having. So the better you understand their problem, the easier your solution could be, because there's always a solution. So I don't think so. Of course, if the data is not good enough, then the data is not good enough. I mean, we are not magicians. We just need data, which is valid to work with. But you will realize that the better you understand the business problem and what the business actually needs, or your consumer or user actually needs, who is asking you, might be in university. You have to ask a professor once again, so what is the problem we should address now? the better you specify the problem, the easier the solution is, and the more successful the solution will be. And so I can just stress once again, whenever you have a whenever you have the request or ask that somebody's asking you to build a solution, you should really spend some time in asking what is the problem. So it's in my career, it was always like, I need a dashboard. And in the beginning, I always said, okay, no problem, I build you a dashboard. After a while, I realized it might be a dashboard, but instead of now just delving into building the dashboard, I go back and say, what do you need the dashboard for? So if I know what you need the dashboard for, maybe the solution is not a dashboard. It could be a dashboard. Maybe the dashboard is what helps you. But if you explain me your problem, then I can give you the right solution, and don't come to me and order the solution. So when they come around saying, hey, I need a dashboard, then they actually ordering the solution already, not knowing which solutions there might be if they would explain the problem in a more accurate way.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the concept from Simon Sinek that I quite like, with the start with why. It's exactly
Exactly.
that. It's don't come to me with a problem. Well, don't come to me
Exactly.
with a solution. Come to me with a problem. Tell me why you need this, and then
Yes.
we'll figure out how to make it happen.
Absolutely. I mean, why, how, what is exactly a very good principle, a very good methodology to explore the problem space very, very well, and to go deep into the underlying need of my consumer or customer. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. There's no other question. So I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add. Otherwise, we can close.
No, I think I hope it helped to digest the topic a little bit and to learn about data product management. It's an upcoming topic, and I don't know if you considered in the past to become a data scientist because you think data science is a super good job opportunity or whatever. It definitely is. And don't get me wrong. So the world needs data scientists, the world needs data engineers, but I can tell you, the shortage in data product managers is huge, and people are really looking for people who understand both worlds, the data world and the business world, and working at this interface is super cool. Also for those who might feel challenged sometimes by the technical perspective of data science. I mean, as a data product manager, you don't necessarily need to be an expert in data science, or an expert in design, or an expert in business casing. You're bringing actually from all these 4 dimensions I showed on the slide, you're bringing capabilities to the table because you're good and bad in everything. So which makes you a perfect data product manager, and which also makes you a perfect candidate for joining this discipline. There is no data product manager born out there. Data product managers typically come from one of these 4 dimensions into this field. Either come from a technical perspective, either the science perspective, they come from a data science perspective, or even from the business perspective. I've seen great data product managers coming from business. They studied business or whatever, and they got a good technical understanding, and they become brilliant data product managers. So it's, I think, a good job opportunity these days, a very good job opportunity.
For sure.
Cool.
Sounds
No,
good.
that's it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much again. I think that was brilliant. We learned a lot with you today. And this recording will be available online as well. So you'll be able to watch it again if you missed the beginning as well, on LinkedIn and YouTube. And on that note, we'll close. Don't hesitate to have a look as well at the data scientist training courses that we have, in the different formats that we have. And again, thank you, Nadiem. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you
And
very much for having
let's stay
me.
in touch. Thank you.
Cheers. Goodbye. Bye bye.
Bye.